Alright, welcome back guys. So TRMNL is a product I'm super interested in. I love that it's open source and the fact that you could really just bring your own device. So you could really just make your own TRMNL device by using a standard 7.5 inch e-ink display. And I love the fact that C Studio has all the documentation you need to help you get started, as well as all the hardware you need too, right, to build your own TRMNL. And that's exactly what I'm gonna do. So I have with me all the hardware I need to make my own TRMNL device. And all you really need is just this display driver here. It's a breakout board for the Shao ESP. And of course, you're gonna need the e-ink display itself. So this one is a 7.5 monochrome display. It's a pretty nice display, which I have lying around. While this board would be okay, it's not an official TRMNL kit. So I'm super excited to hear that C Studio has officially collabed with TRMNL to release this hardware kit here. It's a big upgrade from just a simple e-ink driver board, and it has everything you need to get started with this kit. Right, so after hours of printing, I finally have the final design of the TRMNL housing here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you along with the process of how I created this housing, starting with this first prototype. So with this first prototype, I tried to print everything in one piece. That wasn't a good idea because the quality wasn't really nice, as you can see here, as well as it pretty much warped along the edges here. So with the second prototype, what I did was I separated the back cover so it could print a lot better quality, as well as printing the two sides flat made it easier to print. Now, one thing I didn't like was now there's a seam, and that didn't make it look as clean as I wanted. And the back cover didn't have anything to hold it in place. So with my third iteration, I actually fixed a lot of these issues. And what I've actually done too is start playing around with an accent color. Now, what this does is it gives it a bit of a pop so that, you know, it's not so boring. Now, regarding a seam, I got rid of that by printing it as a single solid piece rather than separating it into two. Finally, I made the internal frame toolless. This makes things a lot easier to put together without needing any screws or screwdriver. Now, one thing with this back cover is I gave it a small lip. And how this works is that with the back frame here, I made these small lips here that presses against the back cover when you snap it on. So then, you know, this holds it in place so that it doesn't move around or pops right off, right? And you can see here the back frame sits flush to the actual front frame itself. However, I did leave 4 screws here to hold it in place. Now, I really want this to be toolless, so I actually removed the screws because I didn't think they were actually necessary because the back cover actually snaps into place. So removing the screws actually made it really nice and super clean. So I actually want to leverage this kit. So back to the drawing board, I'm going to redesign the housing, actually just to retrofit it so that it fits the new kit. Okay, so the print turned out really well. What I'm actually going to do is show you guys how I put this kit together. So starting with the internal frame, it took a lot of tries to get all the measurement correct. And I made it toolless so that you could slide and pop the PCB into place. And you can see that once it's on, everything fits perfectly. So it's looking really good. So the next thing we want to do is just pop in the battery. So once you have the PCB and battery in place, all you really need to do now is just stick on the antenna and then connect it to the ESP module itself. And it looks like our board's ready to go. So the next thing to do is really just to connect the display. So the display just kind of slides into the frame itself, and you just have to connect this extender here to reach the PCB itself. And once you have the display connected, really what's left is just popping on the back cover here and then pressing on the frame cover itself, and it just snaps into place. And as you can see, it's looking really nice and clean. I love the minimal look to it, and you have all the access to the ports and buttons below here. Honestly, I loved how this turned out, and I really like the accent color that pops to the grill itself. So really the last thing to do is put on the stand itself. However, the stand does require 2 screws, and I promise you this is the only 2 screws you need in this entire housing. So you may notice the 2 holes for the wall mounts in the back, but these are actually also IKEA pegboard mounts that you could use to mount on the Scatters board from IKEA. And I think this is a great way to include the terminal device into your home office or desk setup. And for me personally, it makes a great device to have in the entryway so that I can quickly check the weather and other things. So what I'm actually really excited to let you guys know is that I actually designed this housing as part of the Co-Create program with Seed Studio. So let me know in the comments what you guys think about this design, and will you be buying this kit as well as making your own terminal device?